Welcome back everyone to the channel where we fearlessly empower others to reach their full potential. In this act, we are going to learn how to repair the cracks of your team's foundation. In this act, we are going to really cover what are the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and it comes from a book with that name on it, but also what are key tenets of a biblical team. So in the next act, we'll go through on how to build that, but I feel like if you don't raise your awareness on some of the toxicity that are on teams today, it'll be hard for you to take the steps on a journey to where you need to do to kind of put some spackle on those cracks maybe in your team. There are a lot of people today who are going around and saying, we are a team, or they'll even send you an email, or they'll respond and they'll say, hey team, and you may not even know the person who's talking to you, may not even have any feeling whatsoever. Well, there are key parts about a team that have to struggle and have to grow together in order to earn that status. Teamwork in team is not just a label. It is something you have to work at, struggle at. It requires true communication. It requires connection, trust, accountability, conflict management, or resolution. These are the things that we have recently covered in our past acts, and now we're kind of bringing them all together so that way we can start to focus on the results. Now, what's more important is, what is a biblical team? This is a team that will always try to seek God's guidance, but also will pray, and also everything that they will do will bring glory to God. All of the members individually come below the team mission and vision. The members show humility, they show servant leadership, they show mutual respect for one another and accountability to one another. All the relationships and the connections that you form are built on trust, forgiveness, and love. These are acts that we have just covered and are the lifeblood of any team. Make sure that communication, when you build in a biblical sense, communication is clear and honest. Conflicts are resolved through biblical principles of forgiveness, reconciliation, and peacemaking. That's forgiveness, reconciliation, and peacemaking. Conflict is healthy, but you have to approach it with the right mind, the right heart, and more importantly, the gifts of the Spirit. So, getting into the story, well, in the 1980s, there was a hockey team, amateur, and that ice hockey team was huge underdogs when they were going against the Soviet Union. And even though they were going to be, they were not coming together, and then eventually they put all of their individual needs below the good of the team. And even though they were huge underdogs, they came out to win. And there's a movie on it, and you're more than welcome to watch it, but it is pretty motivating. The 5 dysfunctions of a team are critically important, but think of them if you're in a house and you're building your foundation. You have to have each building block on top of one another become stronger and stronger. But if you don't do the layer below it, you're not going to be able to go to the next level on being a team. So think of these as in order. First is, for your awareness, these are the 5 dysfunctions of a team. The absence of trust. Without trust, people will be hesitant to be vulnerable or comfortable sharing their ideas or opinions. So in order to build that, you have to build a connection with each team member to where they feel comfortable, where they can share their ideas. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? This stresses the importance of unity and joining together for what is needed to bring glory to God. The next part is a fear of conflict. Now, we have spent a lot of time and tools that you should have worked up to this point to try to help you solve conflicts and create a culture of innovation and openness. Because if you haven't, trust, and you're never going to get to the fear of conflict if people can't even share their ideas. So people who avoid conflict may not be able to address them, but more importantly, they will not be able to come to a decision. Here is a very known fact. We are emotional creatures who later try to apply logic for our decisions. No decisions can be made without appealing to the emotions of others. So it's incredibly important to have those involved in those decisions. So Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful." If we all come with a Christ's heart, we are coming with forgiveness, we are coming with openness, and we are coming with peacefulness. What's in your heart? Next, if you're able to conquer and build trust and build a culture where you can have good conflict resolution, next you have to tackle lack of commitment. Without commitment, team members won't be in it to win it. You don't know if they're fully invested or if they're going to spend their time with you, maybe just getting paid, but their heart is not in it. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work it with all your heart as you're working for the Lord and not human masters." It is so critically important that every day that you go into work, that you are committed and you're working for a higher purpose. And if you're able to build that trust, have a culture to where you can have forgiveness, openness, and solve conflicts and make decisions, and then you can get people to be committed to one another, now you have to conquer the avoidance of accountability. Teams that avoid accountability may not hold each other responsible for their part of their actions and may not make the commitment in order to do that. Romans 4:12 says, "So then each of us will give an account to ourselves to God." Remember, everything you do, He sees. So remember, everything we should do, we should try our best. Now, if you can get to this point where you have built cohesion and trust on your team, you have a culture where you can really get after those conflicts, meaning everybody feels open to share their ideas, and then people can get their heart and their souls behind your mission and vision, and then you make a commitment to each other to hold each other accountable, and you will be the person before God. Now you can fully go into the results. If you don't do the first four things, you're just spinning your wheels. You're going into work, you're leaving work, you're going to work, but you are not going to achieve those higher results. Teams that are not focusing on achieving are just doing things to do them. That's it. Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This is so incredibly important. God has a plan for you. Now, He never says it's easy, but He does have a plan for you to succeed, to bring glory to Him. Now, for a personal exercise, we're going to make these really short because there's going to be a part 2 to this to give you steps to help solve it. Reflect on your own inadequacies. Look at the teams that you are currently a part of or in name only part of. What are you doing to bring forgiveness, reconciliation, and love on each one of your teams? What are you doing? Peacemaking. Then make a commitment to change those things. So look at the 5 dysfunctions and see which ones you are missing on each one of your teams. Next, if you are on a team, go use the 5 dysfunctions and ask some really hard questions. And each member, and ask them, can you trust every member on this team? Do they have your back? Do they want to bring glory to God? I guarantee a lot of your teams will probably be very quiet and hesitant because they don't know if they do or not. This is an awakening. Wake up and figure out where you stand, because if you don't even have a foundation, you can't even achieve results. You are just spinning your wheels and you are not accomplishing all the great things that God has for you and your team. I wish you a blessed day. I wish you a blessed week. Never forget to fearlessly empower others.